Om. Welcome students to a class on Ashtanayikas, one of the most often performed popular pieces in Bharatanatyam and also other classical dance forms, with a lot of scope to do with the Sringara Rasa. Bharata in Natya Shastra has given a unique classification of the Nayikas or heroines based on their age, basic character, personality, relationship with the lover and various stages of love. His theory implies the innate understanding of the fundamental bodily humors in Ayurveda called the Tridoshas of Vata, Kapha, Pitta. Otherwise, this kind of a division would not have been possible. So, we are looking into the psychological aspects which have led to this kind of a division. Matter is composed of 5 basic elements according to this doctrine, the Pancha Mahabhutas, which inhere the properties of Prithvi, Jala, Tejas, Vayu and Akasha, which are the 5 elements. The subtlest of them being the last, which is space, and the grossest of course being the earth. Having every perspective of touch, smell, sight and sound and taste. The structure of every organism, living organism, is made up of 5 elements, but the functional aspect is governed by the 3 biological humors. The combinations like ether and air constitute Vata, fire and water Pitta, and water and earth Kapha, giving each one of us a different kind of a body system. This is why we find that people have many in common, but a variety of differences in behavior and response to environment based on this combination, and thereby the respective diseases as well. That is of course a medicinal subject. They differ in permutations and combinations, and when they are distinctly present in every individual in this manner, they express themselves also accordingly. With the predominance of also the 3 different qualities or the gunas. That is yet another concept which we should all at least be aware of. Sattva is characterized by clarity and the deeper spiritual layer of consciousness. It is pure and free from disease and it's always calm. Also responsible for the perception of knowledge. Rajas, most active, has motion, stimulation and desires, ambitions, fickle-mindedness. These are all the result of an excessive rajas. Tamas is characterized by disturbances in perception and activities of the mind, delusion, false knowledge, laziness, apathy and indolence. These are all due to it. So, these gunas and the doshas in varying proportions determine our nature, and surely a lot of Ayurvedic foundation is visible in the way the heroines and the heroes are classified. Sattva, says Bharata, the predominant emotion of character represented is something invisible, but it gives support to psychological states and sentiments by means of horripilation, tears and similar other signs displayed in proper places and in harmony with the sentiments. The histrionic representation with an exuberant sattva is superior, the one with the level sattva is middling, and that with no sattva is inferior. In the chapter Harmonious Representation, 8 kinds of heroines are described. The shlokas 210 to 219, please refer. Nayika are of 8 kinds. 1 dressed up for union, Vasaka Sajja. 1 distressed by separation, Virahotkantita. 1 having her husband in subjection, Swadhina Bhartraka. separated from her lover or a quarrel, kalahantarita. enraged with her lover Khandita, deceived by her lover Vipralabdha, and one with a sojourning husband Proshitapatrika, and last but not the least, one who moves to meet her lover Abhisarika. A heroine dressed up for union or a Vasika Sajjika is one whose eager anticipation of the lover, decorating herself joyfully when the conjugal union is soon to happen. Virahot Khandita is a heroine distressed by separation, a woman whose beloved does not turn up on account of his preoccupation with other engagements, making her afflicted with sorrow. A heroine having her husband in subjection or Swadhina Bhartraka, whose husband is captivated by her charm as well as by intense pleasure of love with her and would stay by her side. A woman separated by quarrel or kalahantarata. She is impatient for her lover who has gone away due to a quarrel or jealousy and not returning. An enraged heroine, Khandita, a woman whose beloved one, due to attachment for another lady, does not turn up for the conjugal union, which is overdue. Deceived or Vipralabdha, when the lover does not visit an irate woman like a Khandita, giving a certain reason even after she has met him or made a tryst. When she is deceived like this, she would not accept him even when he falls down on his feet and apologizes. A heroine with a sojourning husband or a Proshita Bhartraka is one whose husband, the beloved one, is living abroad on account of work or far away. So she keeps her hair scattered, which is an indication of a Proshita Bhartraka. A heroine moving to her lover, which is an Abhisarika, an intense love triggers her to give up modesty and go to meet him, daring nature and the world. Classification of the heroines is always relating to her hero or the Nayaka. The Nayika's categorization by birth, character and behavior are all stated in the Natya Shastra. The behavior makes them Swiya, Parakya and Samanya. By experience, Mugdha, Madhya or Pragalbha. By attitude, which is or behavior, Swiya, she is one who is married and faithful to her husband like Sita and other women like Rukmani, etc. Parakya is married to one but in illicit love with another. Traditionally, the gopis are considered thus. Meera is another example. In the Pushti Bhakti philosophy, all souls are married to the world and long for God as Parakyas. Samanya, a freely available woman who belongs to any man but for a price. The Ashtanayikas, when categorized by birth, can be segregated into origins, divine, human, or a combination of both. By experience, which we spoke of earlier, Mugdha is one who is inexperienced in love, Madhya partly experienced, and Pragalbha mature in the art of love. There is also Ati Pragalbha, who is over mature. Coming back to the categorization by birth, they are Divya or divine like Indrani, Manava, human like Kannagi, Mishra, which is a mix of both categories, such as divine beings who took human form like Sita or Andar, Nirupatni, royal lineage like Mandodari, Kulastri, respectable families, and Ganika, which are heroines who are courtesans. They can be respectively classified into Uttama, Madhyama and Adhama. Uttama self-controlled, Madhyama the middle type, who gives as she gets, and Adhama literally the low, who has no self-restraint and can become abusive. The various types of women in shlokas 99 to 100 of Natya Shastra are those known to possess the nature of devas, asuras, gandharvas, rakshasas, nagas, pishasas, yakshas, birds, tigers, men, monkeys, elephants, deer, fish, camel, crocodile, asses, horses, buffaloes, goats, cows, dogs, and the like. The background of heroines in classic literature. Kama Shastra played an important role in the development of Sanskrit Kavya literature, in which erotic sentiment Shringara is one of the main rasas to be evoked by the poet. Natya Shastra seems to have borrowed from the general science of erotics, perhaps called Kama Tantra, much earlier than Kama Sutra of Vatsyayana, which is around 3rd AD. In its topics, Samanya Abhinaya or harmonious representation and Bahyopachara or dealing with courtesans. The description of love making in yoni and sambhoga and 10 stages of longing and separation or vipralambha is often displayed in dramas. The classification of heroines and heroes, first handled in the Natya Shastra, was later elaborated in Dasharupaka of 10th century and Sahitya Darpana 14th century, but not in Kama Sutra. Typologies were adopted in erotic rhetoric literature widely from 16th century in languages like Hindi, Telugu, and later Kannada, Tamil, and so on. Ashwagosha, 2nd AD, one of the earliest in Kavya style, gives Buddhist literature like Sundarananda, the Nayikas such as Swadhina Bhartraka, described in Sundari with Nanda, and Buddha Charita also, the amorous elements, something which never tainted the finer aspects of monkhood and was universally accepted by later saint poets who extolled salvation. Meghaduta and Ritu Samhara have ardently dealt with these themes, describing women in love-lorn states of various regions. Mayurashtakam and Chaura Panchashika have erotic literature, including variously classified women in love. The biographical account of kings who were patrons of the arts were highlighted by their sports and love in the harem and during conquests. Vidyadhara, the court poet of King Narasimhadeva of Konark temple, wrote Ekavali, portraying him as proficient in love. In Kumara Sambhava, Kalidasa took such liberty while describing Uma and Maheshwara in love dalliance that critics in medieval times arose debating the auchitya or the appropriateness. However, Kalidasa never swayed away from the main theme or narrative, unlike some who digressed unnecessarily. With Gita Govinda, the Parakya Rati, love with another's wife, took a new course as an interesting subject. Ujjwala Neelamani of Rupa Goswami, a follower of Chaitanya, influenced many treatises around the 16th century. Sanskrit drama, a part of Kavya literature, centered around Shringara Rasa, even in plays with heroic subjects like Charudatta, Mritchika Katika, have a courtesan as the heroine. Special monologue plays or bhanas were written with courtesans, discussions on erotic play, etc. Kalidasa displayed his own genius in plays like Abhignana Shakuntalam, Malavika Agnimitram, Vikramorvashiyam, and many more. In all these plays, Kalidasa created brave, beautiful women who loved men who were heroic, handsome, and passionate. They went through the many moods of lovers and exhibited a rare kind of purity in their love. Coming back to Natya Shastra, love in the shlokas 95 to 96, he describes the union of man and a woman as kama, sensual passion. The love which may end in joy or sorrow is mostly to be observed as leading to happiness, even in unhappy situations. Erotic affair, shloka 97, says that the union of man and woman which finds them physically and emotionally united is known as an erotic affair, Shringara, causing happiness. Signs of love, shloka 160 to 168, the glance in which the eyes are sportive, half closed, upper eyelid is drooping and eyelashes are throbbing is called kamya. One in which eyes are expanded up to the corner and have smiling expressions is called lalita. A courtesan overpowered with love should be represented by casting sidelong glances, touching the ornaments and the ears, scraping the ground with her toes, gathering her hair, and so on, while a woman of high family looks continuously with blooming eyes, conceals her smile, speaks slowly, and with a downcast face with her throbbing lips. Various stages of love in shlokas 169 to 171, longing, anxiety, recollection, enumeration of the beloved's merits, distress, lamentation, insanity, sickness, and death are the stages of love in the case of men as well as women. Representation of different heroines in shlokas 221 to 223, enraged, deceived heroines and the heroine with a sojourning husband should be represented by anxiety, sighs, burning of the heart, conversation with female friends, weakness, depression, shedding tears, appearance of anger, giving up of ornaments, and weeping. Shloka 224, a heroine having her husband in her subjection should be represented with bright clothing, face beaming with joyful pride. Shlokas 255 to 256, seeing a good omen indicating his arrival, the heroine should represent that the beloved one is nearing by means of feeling his smell, and on seeing him, she should joyfully get up and proceed to welcome. Shlokas 261 to 262, where there is affection, there is fear, and where there is jealousy, there occurs love. Shloka 264 to 288, a woman should represent depression with an intensely jealous face, trembling of lips due to anger, and utterance of paradoxical words like it is nice and it is beautiful. Mixed feeling should be represented by putting forward a foot and having the left hand on the chest and the right one harshly gesticulating. Disgust should be made by reprimanding the female messenger, by angry laughter, tears, and shaking of the head. Anger should be represented by turning round the bangles and by apprehensive and tearful eyes, harassment with rebuke until the lover would fall to her feet. But by then the ire would have been cooled and the heroine reconciles and embraces, represented by appropriate song and dance. Ashtanayika and the poetry or the songs. Jayadeva was a poet of the 12th century hailing from Orissa. His Gita Govinda is Sanskrit love poetry with 24 ashtapadis, songs with 8 couplets that depict different moods in the love of the legendary divine lovers Krishna and Radha. Radha, Jivatma, Krishna, Paramatma. To comprehend Gita Govinda's reach would entail a mastery of Indian art, as every nook and corner of the country is replete with ashtapadis in dance, music, painting, sculpture, and theatre. A padam is a musical monologue like a kirtana and bears the sentiment of love for the Lord through the innumerable aspects of Nayak-Nayika bhava. It is a scholarly composition with sections of Pallavi, Anupallavi, and Charanam. Popular padams of Kshetrajna, Sarangapani, and Govinda Samayya are suitable for the Ashtanayikas. The music set for the padams by the Vagyakaras are rich. Some of these have been used to depict Vipralamba Sringara or love in separation. Most padam compositions deal with the theme of separation and love with ample scope for varied treatment. Tamil padams are always sung in a slightly faster tempo. A few are in Madhyama and usually set to Mishra Chapu and Triputa Talas, which help to bring out the musical gait. The present popularity of padams is due to the efforts of Srimati Veena Dhanammal and members of her family. There are also versions of padams from Andhra Pradesh and other places. The music of the Javlis is slightly faster than that of the padams. The love theme, the heroine pining for the beloved, is the same, but Javlis mostly talk of mundane love. The music is lighter, the language colloquial, and a lot of humor and satire is noted. Javli is ideally suited for the Kandita Nayika many times. The Ashtanayikas come vibrantly alive in Tumri Bandish. It is left to the dancer to convey the romantic heroine through the minimal lyrics of a Tumri. For instance, Approshitapatika Nayika in Raga Pahadi, my beloved has gone abroad and has not returned although he promised, and my home has become that of an ascetic. Aswadina Bhartrika in Raga Purvi, my sweetheart, you color my sari red, as it is the same shade as your turban. I want to be elegant and colorful, so you bring me more saris and make them red in color. Vasaka Sajjika's sculpture is found in the Lakshmana temple in Khajuraho. Somanatha's Raga Vibhoda associates the Raginis Bhupali and Todi with Vasaka Sajjika, Bahuli and Saurashtri with the daring Abhisarika. Damodara Sangeeta Darpana associates Vipralabdha with the Ragini Bhupali. Raga Vibhoda represents the Raginis Varati and Velavati as Vipralabdhas. In the Sangeeta Darpana, the Ragini Varati represents Khandita Nayika. Mala Shri, Travanika, Ramakriti, Jaitashri and Purvi are associated with Swadhina Bhartrika and Mukhari, Pauravi and Turushka Todi with Virahot Khandita. In Shringara Prakasha, Bhoja relates the various Nayakas and Nayikas with musical ragas. While rooted in Sanskrit rhetoric, Keshavadas makes a significant contribution in choosing Brajabhasha. He offers this visualization of the Ashtanayikas. The Swadhina Patika, who is admiringly loved by her beloved, gets her feet scrubbed and painted by him and is kept in the mirror of his heart as betel leaves in a case. The Virod Khandita, also called Ukta, who is troubled because her lover is away for long, worries about his health, or if the rain in the night has kept him far. The Vasaka Sajjika, who adorns herself and waits expectantly around sandalwood trees, entwined by clove, creepers, and yearns for her beloved amidst the breeze, looks like Rati in a Tulsi grove. The Kalahantarita, or Abhisandhita, the heroine, who is arrogantly furious, does not glance at him even when he falls at her feet, but is regretful later and finds that even sandal, lotus, or moon burn her heart. The Khandita, who rebukes her beloved when he comes late with suspicious signs, whose eyes are reddened by the henna of another woman. The Proshita Patika, whose beloved is away on business for a while, but will return, is heartfelt in emotion, hard like a log of wood, which would not ignite in the fire of separation. The Vipralabdha, whose beloved does not come in spite of a tryst arranged by her Sakhi, feels her 16 adornments are like embers while flowers have turned to arrows and gardens to forests. The Abhisarika, who sets out to meet her beloved, when driven by love is Prema Abhisarika, by pride is Garva Abhisarika, and by passion Kama Abhisarika. Says Keshavadasa, adorning herself with sandal paste and a garland of flowers, she makes the Chakura birds forget the pain of parting, least afraid of even snakes around her feet and the thunder of clouds above, as she is wantonly driven to her beloved. Ashtanayikas is a popular, unique theme of not only dance but also music, paintings and sculpture. The confluence of classical dance, music, painting and literary traditions is evident in the theme of love, highlighting the Indian philosophy of life and creativity. The archetypal heroine, who is one of the Ashtanayikas, is depicted as an expectant beloved waiting by a bower, while the dejected one is depicted suffering from the fire of separation. The ambience in which the protagonists are depicted reflects the lover's situation in the evening sky, the forest, the stream, the meadows, every aspect of fauna and flora which participates in the mood are the visual means of expressing the literary. Indian Hindustani music treats the variant of a raga in its feminine aspect as Ragini, figuring as a Nayika. For For example, you have the Todi Raga, very famous miniature also on it. The literary inspiration for the Nayak-Nayika paintings is the Rasika Priya by Keshavadasa and Rasamanjari of Bhanudatta, while the origins of the Ragamala paintings are in the Kavipriya. Swadhina Patika, Jayadeva, perhaps this particular heroine, perhaps inspired more miniature paintings than the writer of any other poetic work. And we can find Radha being depicted many a time like this, when Krishna literally adores her, and we have a scenic beauty of the lakes and the trees, the rain clouds, the peacocks, the forests, where the Radha and Krishna meet each other. And whenever she is depicted as a happy Nayika, we have an example of Swadhina Patika, whose lover is devoted and literally subjected by her. A Vipralabdha generally is represented as one who is tired of waiting and wondering where her lover is anxious, whether he is with another woman or whether she is being neglected. And as a repercussion, she throws her jewelry around to show the disappointment. So these are some of the ways in the miniature representation. Vasika Sajika decorates a floral bed for her lover's return, embellishes herself with flowers and ornaments to enchant her lover, eagerly waiting. Virahut Khandita, on the other hand, expecting her lover, waiting in dejection. He's away for a long time. She's not able to bear the pangs of separation. Swadhina Bhadraka sometimes is also, which we also should keep in mind, is depicted as someone whose feet is being even adorned with color, or her hair is being plaited by her lover. Kalahantarita, the Nayika, finds that her lover is staying away, so she sulks and is disappointed because there has been a quarrel or a misunderstanding. And although he comes back and is down on his feet, she is not willing to accept him that easily. Khandita woman, a woman who's furious, suffers from rejection or neglect, and she rebukes her lover for his lack of attention. In this we have the Uttama Khandita, the Madhyama Khandita, Adhama Khandita, Adhamo Adhama Khandita, the way in which she would react to each of the situations, the degree of anger which is displayed. So some of the Uttamas, it will be very subtle and more loud when the Nayikas differ by their nature. Proshita Bhadraka recollects happy moments with her beloved, who's on a short journey generally for work, but she misses his presence and is very reminiscent of the happy days. So as a result, her hair is left loose and she's waiting with tear-filled eyes. Abhisarika Nayika, very interesting and one of the most favorite topics for the miniatures, is where the heroine is going to meet her lover. She is shown as someone who would go to any extreme, even in the thunderous lightning. She is willing to take the tryst. You find in some paintings that she looks back to see whether her anklet has fallen off, but she's not bothered, and she is going in the dark, and she's going against even the people who are around, as she's regardless of social taboo or her safety. There are serpents depicted many times in these miniatures in and around her or in the trees nearby. So these are the visual appeal which is given to the heroine, and as we imagine itself, there's a lot of scope for the dancer to enact, to bring out the Shringara to the fullest, and hence this is the most coveted topics to be taken for presentation.